Hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast, Afternoon Tea in Bangkok. We are Vietnamese women who are living and working in Bangkok, Thailand. And this podcast is a place that for us to discuss about some favorite topics about life. Then we can have time, sit together and share some ideas about our life. And today is the second time we speak English in the podcast. So forgive our broken English. And I think also Vietnamese sometimes mixed with Thai accents. Yeah, my name is Nguyen. I'm going to be the host of the episode today. We have two regular guests of our channel, Chị Thương and Chị Phuong. And there is another special guest, Emma. She is the cute daughter of Chị Phuong. Hi everyone.
Hello Quyên, hello everyone.
Hello everyone.
Yeah, today we're gonna talk about one topic, which I think is not a new topic, but I think it's very important thing that we should think about. The topic today is about happiness. What normally makes you happy? How do you define the happiness, and what does happiness means to you? So the first question I wanna ask Chị Phương today. What do you think about happiness? How do you define happiness?
It's very big question, I think, because people, all the philosophers throughout the history try to define what is happiness. And the answer, I think, is not the same for everyone. And for me, the definition of happiness also different from time to time. When I was young, happiness is just when I get a good job or when I have a good relationship with others. But now, happiness is something from inside, and whenever I can do something meaningful for me, for myself, and for everyone around me. So, yeah, this is just my definition. And maybe it's not a fixed definition, I think. It's a life process, a long process to define what is happiness.
Yeah, thank you. How about chị Thương? What do you think about this question?
Oh, it's super classic and super hard questions in a
Yeah,
short time.
Yeah.
it's a very big question.
It's a very big question have been asked from generations to generations, and it's from our whole life to actually seeking for the answer. Yeah, but to define it for me myself, it's just a state of mind where you feel no worries, where you feel relaxed, fully present, without any worry, any concerns. It could be the very simple kind of definition for myself, but it just can't really express what I feel actually about the happiness. But yeah, to put it in a simple answer, it's just a state of mind where you feel relaxed, when you have no worries about things, you feel fully present. It could be the answer for me about the happiness.
Yeah, I agree that it's not easy to answer this question, and I also agree that for every period of life we have different definition about the happiness. So I want to bring this question to ask our little girl today. Emma, what do you think about this? Do you have any definition of yourself about happiness?
Not really.
Okay, so let me put it in simple way. What is normally the activity or the hobby that do you feel happy doing? Or what is a small thing that always make you feel happy or makes you smile when you do that?
A lot of things that I do make me happy, but the main things, piano, singing, drawing, and I don't know what else.
Okay, that is the thing that make you happy. Can you describe it a little bit? For example, when you're playing piano, how do you feel? What is the difference between doing like playing piano or with like doing something else?
The reason I did piano was because I could sing while I did piano, but then when I played it was actually kind of fun. So I did it every day for a few weeks.
Yeah, okay.
I usually play piano when I'm bored, and it's fun.
Yeah, maybe Emma cannot describe, but sometimes happiness is something we cannot describe, but we can feel. I mean, it's just the feeling inside.
Yeah, I do understand that. Like when I was small, when I repeated doing something without knowing that it made me feel happy, relaxed, just keep doing it only. And now when I grow up, looking back to those times, I feel okay. Those are the activities that make me feel good. When I'm sad or like bored, like Emma said, when she feels bored, right, she's gonna play piano.
Yeah, and I think the question, like, what is happiness? Actually, we have this question we ask ourselves when we grow up, right? And we make questions about what is happiness. But for the kids, sometimes we never question about this. We just doing things with joy.
I just enjoy it. I don't think about the question.
Right? Yeah, so for kids, maybe it's just simple, like do things we enjoy, we feel it. We never ask those questions.
Is it the thing we should back? I mean, like we ask ourselves a lot of questions, right? But finally, we're gonna back to the simple thing, the basic thing that
Right,
we just do it and enjoy and feel it. No need to think, right?
right. So sometimes maybe we make things complicated, right?
Yeah.
So make it simple, maybe the answer.
I don't think that I will ever question myself that since you already asked me.
Yeah. Okay.
The Emmy answer is really makes us think that we are born with happiness naturally. But along the way, growing up, along the journey to become a mature persons, we have actually adapt so many things that makes us unhappy, and then we keep asking ourselves about definition of happiness, and we keep seeking happiness. Do you think so?
Right.
Yes.
We are born with it, and along the way we lose it, we don't keep it, and then we keep seeking it, and then we keep saying it's so difficult to find. It's just my thought after hearing a very transparent, very natural answer. I don't know what is unhappiness, I just feel happy all the time. That's what people should be born with and should maintain to keep it. But somehow the society structure, the responsibility put on us, and we have somehow forgot all the happiness. Yeah, but just a thought to share after hearing this. To answer your question about things that I do to make me happy, yeah, I wish I was like Emmy, that I do everything that makes me happy. But of course, along the way to become an adult now, I have already adapted so many unhappiness habits, and I have to find the hobby to make me happy, and I can categorize into two parts. One is the things that I do make me happy, but it costs me money. So the first thing is shopping. Shopping terrify.
Are you a shopaholic?
Uh, Not really, but I do when I need to seek for some relaxation when I'm in stress. So I like to do shopping, or it can be window shopping. Just go and look around, forget about what I worry, just focus on those material things. I might buy it, I might not buy, but that habit makes me happy. Another thing is also costly, is like I like to enjoy the things that need to use money, that needs to use material. For example, go to eat in a good restaurants, or even luxury restaurant where normally I don't spend, but those days where I need to relax, then I just spend anything I want. Or I go to the spa to make me feel good. So those activity that makes me happy, but it costs some cash.
Not some, right?
Yes, sometimes many, sometimes turn out to be broke. And yeah, there are some other habits that do help me to feel happy, that does not cost anything or cost a little. For example, watching the movie on Netflix.
But Netflix costs money.
Yeah, that's what I say. It costs a bit. It costs lesser compared to shopping, but it does cost. Or reading book. Reading book also costs something, right? I need to buy a book. Drinking a coffee, going to the nice coffee shop also costs a bit, but compared to other previous one is maybe less. Or sometimes just doing nothing, just spending a time for myself in a quiet place, listen to music does not cost anything, or spending time with families or friends like you. Sometimes we make an appointment to go out and sit and talk. Those are the things that helps me to feel relaxed, release the stress. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I think those small things, let's say the common things that many people do, let's say women do
Yeah.
to
Right.
make it happy or feel better. And how about you, Phuong? If you feel sad, what activity can make you feel better? Or if you can stay in a place that make you feel better, or what is that place?
When I feel sad, I'm kind of an introvert, so I need a time for myself. Being alone, I prefer somewhere kind of back to nature. Maybe just my balcony, look out into the sky, just feel the fresh air. And if possible, I prefer going to park near my house to feel the nature, because for me the nature is really good for mental health, especially when you are sad or you are depressed. But of course, when you cannot, maybe just stay alone in the bedroom, that's fine. Sit on a chair, focus on the breath is also very good, because it's kind of, meditation. And of course, sometimes I need to go out to hang out with my friends. I know that my friends, they are very trustworthy and understanding. They can share with me the negative emotions. They can spend time listening to me, or just spending time with my family. My daughter, Emma, she is my little angel. She can understand me. Sometimes just hugging can help me to feel better. Just simple things. Yeah. Of course, the list that Chico mentioned is really good, but sometimes it costs money, right? But the simple things doesn't cost anything. It will help. Love, friendship, yeah, being connected with yourself and connected with others.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a good, let's say, recommendations for anyone who are feeling sad, want to make yourself better, right? We can do the simple thing like you mentioned. And yeah, I'm sure gonna feel better because I also experienced those things as well. And I totally agree that nature is kind of the healing medicine, right? So when I feel not so good, I will go down and sit or walk around the garden in my condo. Just be quiet, just be with myself, and then just do nothing. So Tifeng also mentioned that besides something that you do with yourself, you also share the things that make you feel sad with your friends and families as well, right? How about Emma? Would you want to share, let's say, your happy moment with?
Definitely my mom.
Okay, yeah, soulmates. And how about when you feel sad? It's the same, also your mom?
Yes, I usually tell my mom about my sad moments and happy moments. But if I'm like sad at her, then I prefer to be alone.
Okay, and then what do you do at that time when you cannot share that with your mom?
I usually stand at the balcony, so it's like I look over the city and think like random stuff, and then it makes me feel better.
Yeah, it's really your soulmate, right? Also standing on the balcony and look out. Yeah.
Look out the window. And
Yeah.
what else do you do when you feel sad?
Cry a lot, but I also spend time smiling a lot.
Wow.
Because I always tell my kids that you should spend your time for your emotions. Crying, yeah, crying is not something bad. You can cry if you feel sad. This is kind of to respect your emotions.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to do, right?
And I know Emma is a sensitive girl. I never judge her about those things. And I think it's a good thing. It's a positive thing.
Yeah, for me, crying is a good thing to do. Is
Express your emotions.
Yeah, actually, I am also the one like who's sensitive, even with something that I see randomly, and if it's emotional, I also cry. Just not ugly crying. I think it's fine.
But Emma also spent time smiling a lot.
Yeah, this is quite new for me. I mean, like I never think that I'm gonna tell my kids that you should spend time alone and smiling with yourself. But seeing Emma example of, I would say, a happy kid, then I think
Yeah.
it's a very good advice for the kids to do. You, as you said, respect our emotion. Smiling with ourselves is also the thing to do, just like we love ourselves, right?
Yes.
Okay. Another question I want to ask, do you think that your happiness dependent on other people or yourself, chị Thương?
For me, it's both. Like we are living in a community where we are daily affected by so many situations, people. So just both. Sometimes your happiness depends on people around you, but most of the times it depends on you. That means people around you do have a strong effect in terms of your state of mind, your happiness, but you also have the authority to maintain the balance and keep yourself happy. So, in this aspect, it's very complicated, but I can say yes, it's both. Depending on so many situations. But if you learn to be strong, to stay in a balance, then you can bring yourself back to the core and you can balance and you can get back your happiness to your life.
I understand. I know that many people say that the happiness depends on us, right? How you control your emotions, how you react in a tough situation. When you feel stressed, the surroundings are not good to you as well, how you react to those situations.
I can explain like this. At first, when something happened because of the situation or because of the people, and as you are your natural self, you feel unhappy, you are out of balance. Most of the time, this is a very default mode of the human being. But as we are able to train our mind, control our emotions, then we can recover ourselves to be back to our balance mode or relax mode very short. But it does take time because if you ask Emmy, maybe it's different because of the life experience, the awareness about human or about herself. It could be different, or different person has different state of awareness. Then their answer would be different.
Yeah, I agree. So how do you train your mind to back to balance?
Mostly is you have to come back to your awareness, what is going on. When you have the time for yourself quiet, then you started to analyze, you started to observe yourself, you observe the situation, what happens and why you are feeling this way, and you are aware that you are going through the very stormy mode at this moment. It's not forever like that, and there is always ways out. All you need now is just to calm down, to relax, and then everything will be figured out. That's what I do normally when I am facing the situation and then getting back to the normal mode quickly.
Thank you. It's a good advice. But I think it's not easy, right? It's the journey. It's not.
It's not easy, but even I said that, but when I am going through something, I'm still struggle and it takes like an hours. That's why sometimes we need to do some relaxing hobby like shopping, massaging, or having a coffee, or doing things that make you really forget about what has happened and then spend time for yourself to calm down. It's not easy, yes. I'm sure you might have the same situation where you get through something you thought it's easy, but when you really go through it, it's not that easy.
Yeah, I think it's not only that. Sometimes even don't realize that we are going through something and reacting in not a good way, right? So it takes time, firstly, to realize that, oh, you are reacting this way, even good or bad. And then the next gonna be why, to answer the question why we are reacting that way. Yeah, and then next gonna be how.
Resolve and get out of that
Yes.
situation.
Yeah, so it's not easy for me as well. How about Phuong? Normally, what do you do when you go through this situation? And yeah, back to the question I asked you earlier. Do you think that the happiness depends on other people, other possessions, or yourself? And do you think like we can practice our
Yeah.
mind to back to the happy mood?
Yeah, this is not an easy question. For me, when I was young, because I'm kind of a sensitive person, so when I was young, I was not fully aware about that. So I kind of absorb other people's emotions very easily. And somehow I interpret them into my feelings. For example, when somebody around me feels sad, I will be sad too. And at that time, because I was not fully aware about that, so somehow I was overwhelmed of emotions, especially negative emotions. Somehow, when I was young, my happiness depends on others. However, when I grow older, I kind of understand more about my personality. I understand that it's good thing for me to understand the other people's feeling, but I need to regulate my emotions. I can understand them. I turn it into sympathy and empathy, but I still can control my emotions. I am not overwhelmed of negative emotions. Yeah, this is also a practice. I try my best to understand my emotions, to regulate them. So my happiness depends on myself more than others. Of course, it's not easy. It's a long journey. But I think the most important thing is how much you understand yourself. Yeah, that's the first thing. As long as you understand yourself, you will find the best way.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just now, I just recall the interview of me with another friend of mine last week. And we also talk about one friend that we both know. I told her that, yeah, that friend, he always tells me that we should have faith in life, even sometimes we go through bad things. And that friend, she said that for her, the positive mind like that of some people, we cannot change. It's like we are born with that already, and some don't have it. Chị Phương said that you are a sensitive people, right? I'm also sensitive, and I feel sad easily when some other people tell something negatively about myself. But for some other friends, when I observe, I just think that they don't really care, and they have the ability that don't care what other people think. So, do you think that this thing is like kind of a luck that someone are born with that, and for the other, we need to try very hard to get that mindset?
From what I observe, I do rarely see people who are born with that luck. Somehow in our life, there will be a moment where you feel unhappy, but it really depends a lot on your thought, how you view and how your thought about that situations. Some people take it so lightly, they hardly feel unhappy and they really don't care, as you say, much. But from what I observe about people, I know human structure of thought is really complicated and is really by default mode. That means even when you don't want to think about it, or even you don't care about this, somehow you still have the negative feeling about things happening for you. For example, you keep failing and failing on achieving on something. You were seeing people around you having a disease, health problems, and things you wanted and you never achieve. And then one of the things that people also feel unhappy most common is the material. They wanted to get something but they never achieve it, and then at the end of the day they are stuck with poor condition. And that's also one thing that even they don't care, but they do feel it every day. Yeah, it's hard for me to say it's luck or it's not luck, but it's just a nature.
I see. How about chị Phương? What do you think?
I think both. My answer is both. Some people can feel happy very easily, right? Because some people was born to be a positive person. For example, they can feel happy easily. They can see a glass half full rather than half empty more easily than others. But I think it's more of a practice mindset. We just mentioned that we were born to be happy. Everyone was born to be happy. But why everyone feels unhappy when we grow up is because limits ourselves with the definition, society, with all the thoughts and opinions of others. So we turn out to be unhappy because the definition of happiness is not the same for everyone. So at that time, when we feel unhappy, we need to practice to be back to the state when we was a kid.
But sometimes sadness is actually also important to be happy.
How so?
Like in the movie, I don't remember the name.
Inside Out?
Yes, the girl Riley, Joy, at the end of the movie, realized that sometimes sadness is also important to be happy.
Right. That's the movie named Inside Out about the different emotions. Yeah, thank you, Emma, is for reminding me because we often misunderstand between happy and joyful, right? True happiness is not only about joyful, but it's also about sad, other emotions. Yeah, so I think what we are talking about is about true happiness. We accept all the emotions. Is that what you mean, Emma?
Yes.
Yeah, I also recall that movie as well. I think it's also the thing that we normally say that we should know sadness to appreciate the happiness, right? They go together, I think. And back to my question earlier, yeah, I also don't really agree with my friend at that time that it's just only the luck. But somehow I agree partly as Phuong mentioned earlier, that our mind or maybe the brain of human are still quite complicated, and everyone has different level of what we call pressure reaction. Like we have different suffering level. Can you say in that way? Like we used to talk in other podcasts that for one event, right, happen, one person will feel very bad about that, but the other just feel so. But I think it's just a luck when we face with some simple situation or the situation that not really impact to our life much. Once it reaches to the level that that event is quite harsh, like we have to go through a time of depression in our life, we need to practice and change our mind, as we just discussed earlier. No, it doesn't depend on the luck only as when we were young or when we face with very simple situation. My last question, recently, do you feel happy when you wake up each morning? Why and why not? Emma?
Usually, I feel happy like if it's an exciting day, like we're going to a park or anywhere fun. I would wake up and be very excited. But if it's just like a normal day, I would go to school. It depends on the day. Like if something bad is happening, then I would be sad. But if everything's normal, then I would be very happy.
Okay, thank you. How about chị Phương?
Yeah, actually, I see Emma happy every day. Actually,
Yeah.
even she said that something bad happened, but for me, her happiness level is still higher than me. To be honest, I learned a lot from her. She's still a kid, right? So the happiness is still there. It's not contemplated by society. So every day I see her, I can see her smiley face. She always look into the mirror, comb her hair, and smile. And that's the thing I can learn from her.
It's important to look in the mirror and smile because it actually represents that you're loving yourself. So,
Yeah, I learned a lot from you, Emma. Seriously, we know that adults we have more stress and more anxiety. So I have some bad days, I know, but I learned from Emma. Even the worst day, I always try to smile. Look into the mirror and smile. I know we can smile when we are happy, but sometimes
It's hard to smile when you're sad, but you still have to try your best.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least we can feel better in some. So to answer this question, now I can tell you that I feel happy every morning, or at least I try to be happy.
Yeah.
That's a good practice.
We
Okay.
can learn a lot from Emma.
Yeah. And when I feel sad, she gives me a mirror. She tells me like, "Mommy, who is
The
the?"
prettiest person in the world is in the mirror.
Where did you learn that?
I thought of it myself.
It's a big discovery.
Yeah. It's really big lesson to love ourselves. And
Yeah.
once we can learn to love ourselves, we can be happy.
When we love ourselves, we love others too.
Yeah, thank you, Emma. Those are so beautiful words we learned today. Yeah. And how about you, Thương? You have to try yourself to be happy every morning?
Not now anymore. I used to be in the past where I had to struggle so much to smile, to feel happy every day, but I used to feel so sad for every small things. But now I think I have a big achievement in terms of conquering myself. I have kind of 95% looking at things lightly, not too serious. I do really recognize that our time is so short. Every day is not worth to feel unhappy, and since I had that idea in mind, I did not allow myself to feel unhappy every single day. I do allow it to happen in 1 or 2 hours, but every single day is a very happy days for me. And one of the thing I share with you to appreciate every little things, every small thing that we have in our life. It really makes you feel different from other feeling. Like the moment you started to appreciate things you have around you, then whatever struggle or difficulties you have, you will pass it lightly. And now I do have the moment of unhappiness, but it's just 5% of overall my life.
I have a way to smile every day.
Can you share with us?
It actually doesn't cost a lot of money. You just have to have three things: jar, a clear or a not clear one is okay, a marker, and an onion. So you put water in the jar and then you put the onion in the water and then you draw a smiley face on the onion so that every day you can watch it grow and look at its smiley face at the same time and smile.
Mm.
Yeah, very nice.
Did you do that at home?
Yes.
And you smile every day?
Yes.
Wow, that's nice.
Through the conversation today, I think Emma is in another world and she's thinking, what are they talking? Why they feel sad?
Why you have to talk about sad? There is no sadness in this world, right?
Uh, okay, yeah, but I think it's a very nice suggestion. Yeah, and for me, like I mentioned earlier, that in the past, I didn't even realize that I did feel unhappy at some moment, not only in the morning, sometimes in a tough situation, or even like walking home. Sometimes I didn't really even recognize that. But then recently, like with the practice, when I go through some tough time, I also aware. I am aware that, so I will back to observe myself. And normally I have one thought in my mind, that why we always smile with other people out there, colleagues, with clients, but we cannot do that with our family, like the one who stay with us, who always support us when we go through hard time. Why we cannot do that? And then when I have that thinking, I just back to the present and just smile. After that moment, like things changed. Yeah, so that's my way. Yeah, anything else that you wanna talk about our topic today?
I have about the happiness. Should it be the final goal for our life? We always seeking for something material whatever, many things in our life. And we talk about happiness so often, but we haven't mentioned whether our goal should be a happiness. And if it is a happiness, then can we have a kind of conclusions how we can achieve that happiness?
Oh, that's a very nice question.
I think it's a philosophy question.
Principle.
So yeah, it's not a simple question. I think we talk about happiness a lot. We try to define it. How to be happy. Somebody say that happiness is inside. Somebody will say it's outside. We need to seek for happiness. So what is the purpose of life? I feel like it's kind of a paradox. We try to be happy because sometimes we don't have it inside. I myself feel I don't have a clear answer for this question, to be honest, because I feel like, why we need to define life is just life and the purpose is just to live your life fully, right? Maybe sometimes we feel happy, sometimes we feel unhappy, but that's normal. It's complicated for myself as well.
Yeah, it's just a thought, but I also never had an answer. And
I think that questioning is the very first step.
Adults are complicated.
we just complicated things ourselves, no? The answer is there.
So, what do you think, Emma?
I think that adults are complicated and you don't really need to try to be happy. You can just smile and be happy, that's all.
Yeah.
For me, I think the reason why we have that question is because in life, right, we are chasing after many things. Success, success at work, having more money, traveling to many places, meeting new people, like interesting people, have a comfortable life. And then at the end, we got stressed after chasing these things. And then we back to the question, why we are doing these things that make us feel stressed and unhappy. So finally, what do we want? And then many people say that finally, what I want is just to be happy. So I think that's why we have that question. Is it a goal to finally just to be happy? I think you know this, there's no way to the happiness. Happiness is the way, right? We're gonna feel happy on the way that we are trying to achieve something in our life. For me, it's not a goal, it's the thing that we should feel every day. It's also fine that sometimes we don't feel happy because life is impermanent, right? For me, life is just when you connecting the dots, every moment, every small moment in life, sad, happy, tired, bored, angry, everything, every emotion combined together, will be our life. Yeah, so for me, it's not a goal.
That should be a nice conclusion for today.
Yeah, okay.
What you said is actually a good conclusion.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do kids are usually happier than adults?
Yeah, so Phuong, can you answer your daughter's question first?
Yeah, because we are more complicated. I remember from the Little Prince, the novel Little Prince, adults are unhappy because they forget that they were kids before. Yeah, that's the answer. We are lucky to have our kids in our life to remind us that we were kids before and we can learn a lot from them to be happy again.
Yeah. Chị Thương, can you answer this question?
It might be hard for you to accept it, Emma, but we are trapped by social rules. We are trapped by society more than you, longer than you. That's why we are complicated.
I need to tell you that you will grow up someday.
But I don't want to.
For me, my short answer is life. But I really hope that when you grow up, even you face with something complicated in life, even sometimes you got trapped, but you still can step out of the situation and observe what are people chasing after, what is the game that they are playing, and how do you feel at that time. And I hope that you can remind yourself that everything is just simple as when you are a kid. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's all for today. Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining the episode today, and we hope that the discussion today will have some ideas for you to think about the happiness. But sometimes no need to think too much. Just enjoy the moment and remember, smile every day. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Be happy.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.